The Lakers and Bulls have been named in a bunch of potential trade reports and rumors over the past couple weeks, and now the asking price from the Chicago Bulls for either Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, or even Alex Caruso has been revealed, and frankly, it is quite insane. So we're going to break down this report, whether or not it makes sense for the Lakers to reach this asking price, and where the Lakers currently stand on a potential trade with the Chicago Bulls. But before we dive into that, folks, again, we are on our quest, on our journey to 1,000 subscribers, and over 96% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So it would mean the world to all of us if you guys could hit that subscribe button and help us march closer to our goal ahead of this year's Christmas, New Year's. Who knows when Lakers Digest will reach that milestone. But let's dive into this report because we have some madness coming out. Basically, the Chicago Bulls, it's come from Chris Haynes. We'll take a look deeper into the report as the video goes along. But basically, in any asking price for Lavine, Caruso, or DeRozan, they want Austin Reaves at least to be involved, much less any other picks or players on the Lakers roster. Austin Reaves must be in any package, any asking sort of deal from the Chicago Bulls. And frankly, this is crazy. And now you might look at the Chicago Bulls players and say, Ben, Zach Lavine's been an all-star. DeMar DeRozan has been a player that's from LA that is putting up close to 23, 22 points per game this season. Could be a nice on-ball sort of scoring threat for this Lakers team. And Alex Caruso won us a championship. Should we make this deal, or should we just not completely write it off? Well, if you look at the stats this season for Austin Reaves, you look at it and you say, hey, the counting numbers don't look like, at the level of a Zach Lavine or DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, on the defensive end, Austin Reaves isn't going to provide what Alex Caruso does out there in terms of guarding and hounding the other team's offensive players. But again, the counting stats are extremely solid from Austin Reaves. They've taken a step up from last year. 15 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 47% from the field, and a solid 36% from the three-point line. As always, Reaves makes his free throws. He's just a steady offensive player. I feel like he's putting in more energy, more effort on the defensive end. He's not completely chalked on that end of the floor, but again, Austin Reaves has taken a lot of strides this season, and in areas that I don't think a lot of people sort of recognize, because obviously when he bursted out onto the scene for the LA Lakers, he was mostly sort of a spot-up shooting threat, and at least had all of his buckets really come off of, dimes from guys like LeBron, other players on this Lakers roster. He was more of a guy that really found his opportunities, found those sort of moments for him, to hit his open shots, to make good cuts, high IQ plays, and then executed on them, because that's how sort of, deeper bench players get integrated into the lineup. And the numbers sort of show this, and it also shows how Austin Reaves has grown from a guy that's sort of used to getting his buckets off the backs of other players, and now is becoming a focal point in the Lakers offense. Basically, you can look at his sort of shot distribution, distance and stuff, and then the number there at the end that sort of goes along the side of what we've been talking about is the percentage of shots that were assisted on. So basically, you can look at this number for Austin Reaves, and now more and more each season as it goes along, there's drastic differences in terms of how Austin Reaves needs to sort of create his own looks, create his own shots. And that's sort of what you'd be hoping to get from a DeMar DeRozan, from a Zach Lavine. It'd be the reason you'd make a trade for one of those guys, because you want that sort of another player outside of LeBron, AD, these types of players, heck, D'Lo on good nights, that can sort of create their own shots, create their own buckets. But Austin Reaves has steadily been improving in that area. He's still a young guy, in this league, but basically in his rookie season, over 98% of his shots out from behind the three-point arc were assisted on. And over 55, close to 56% of his twos were assisted on from teammates. So that means teammates had to pass him the basketball within the flow of the offense. And then, things were a little bit easier on Austin Reaves in terms of getting buckets. Well, as the numbers sort of went on season by season, you can see it on the right side of this graph here. This year, only 32% of Austin Reaves' twos are assisted on, and then just below 56% of his threes are assisted on this year. So we look at that, and then we see his improving sort of box score stats, his points per game going up, all that type of stuff. That means Austin Reaves is taking on more and more of a load, more and more of an impact player in the offense, and proving that he can do what Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan are doing on a night-in, night-out basis, alongside an Anthony Davis, alongside LeBron James, alongside all the stars we have in LA that it's proven, it's shown to work. Again, our offense has looked pretty solid with Austin Reaves being able to execute, be out there on the court, whether it's off the bench, starting, all this type of stuff. So Austin Reaves has been a valuable piece. He's proven that he fits in with what the Lakers are doing, and he's only getting better in the areas that we'd be trading to acquire Zach Lavine or DeMar DeRozan in. And then you have the questions about Lavine and DeRozan if they were to come to the roster. Because again, Lavine is a guy that's 28 years old, so still in the prime of his career, can sort of get rolling along these things. Again, putting up solid stats, 21 points, 5 rebounds. His three-point percentage has been down a bit this season, but he's dealt with some injuries. He's really struggled to put in effort out there on the defensive end, which is, not super encouraging. Maybe with the Lakers, he'd be a bit more motivated playing around LeBron in more of a competitive situation. He'd execute there, but we have a lot left to be desired on that end of the floor from Zach Lavine in the past. And it's just a guy that I feel like, including Austin Reaves, given the age, given the sort of fit, what we already know works with Reaves, I mean, I'm not that interested in giving up that type of asset that's currently improving. Zach Lavine's sort of been taking steps back, especially with his injuries and stuff along those lines. I mean, maybe you do it, but again, we'd have to add more money to the deal. We'd have to sort of add stuff to it. No. Zach Lavine, I'm just not that interested. It's a risky piece to bring in when you know Austin Reaves will work. You know he's getting better, and you only have a tiny, tiny window with LeBron James obviously getting older and older each year, and then having to sort of deplete your bench to bring in Zach Lavine. It gives me shades of a Russell Westbrook-esque acquisition in terms of risk, in terms of whether or not it works out, and how it can hinder the franchise for at least a season if we end up making that go down. But then DeMar DeRozan, you look at and say, oh, he's an LA guy. LeBron wanted him in the past. Could DeMar DeRozan be a fit? And again, DeMar's a little bit older, 34 years old, wants to be in a winning situation, 23 points per game this season, doesn't really space the floor, even though he's shooting 37% from behind the three-point line, doesn't take a lot of threes, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Again, a guy that needs the ball in his hands, does all this type of stuff, but the thing about these two guys compared to Austin Reaves, night in, night out, is Austin Reaves is proving the ability to step up and do what DeMar DeRozan, do what Zach Lavine can do. But we've also seen Austin Reaves be that complementary piece in the offense. Not force his game, not do anything too crazy that really takes you out of things. Some nights, again, he takes some bad shots, he gets overzealous with some buckets, but again, for the most part, we've seen him be that spot-up shooter if that's what Darvin Ham needs in the system for a given stretch of time. That's not what DeMar or Zach Lavine are going to provide. And then DeMar DeRozan's also an unrestricted free agent this summer, and he is looking for over $170 million over the course of 4 years in free agency. So given his current age, that would be a massive risk for the Lakers. I know they're sort of an aged-out roster, LA currently, at least with LeBron, the LeBron timeline, but they'd be handcuffing themselves to DeMar, who, again, has been solid in the mid-range area, is going to be a competent player for the next few seasons, but at that price point, you're really locking yourself into this roster. Whereas, Reaves, you got him under contract, he's younger, he's improving, all that type of stuff. He can fill whatever role you're sort of looking for. Again, I'm not super sold on things along those lines. And then you look at Alex Caruso, because Alex Caruso is a guy that plays defense better than Austin Reaves, one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. He's a guy that spaces the floor. He can get you points. I mean, you look at Alex Caruso's stats. Again, they're obviously, the counting numbers are lower than what Reaves is going to provide, but efficient from behind the three-point line, 47% from three, pairing him again aside LeBron James now with his improved skill set, 29 years old as well, but 9 points, 3 rebounds, elite defense. He would be an awesome fit for this Lakers team, but again, when you need players, as we saw in the playoffs last year, Hachimora, Austin Reaves really stepped up in moments where the Lakers could have used some extra firepower on the offensive end. They stepped up, they played, and while Alex Caruso will certainly get you those spot-up threes, he'll make them down, you're not getting shot creation from Alex Caruso. Pull up a similar graph to what we looked at with Reaves. This season, 88% of the threes that Alex Caruso's been taking were assisted on this year, and that's in the 90s last year. 90s basically, for the past 3 seasons. His twos, over half of his shots are assisted on, so you're not getting a lot of shot creation from Alex Caruso if that deal is to potentially go down. So that's an element of the Lakers offense that hurts. And with Anthony Davis, because again, the Lakers, we're not going to do anything if Anthony Davis is out injured. Our defense is going to be spotty. With him on the defensive end, it's its own thing. Anthony Davis puts us in the top 5 sort of in terms of defense, regardless of whatever's going on. But Offensively, Reaves out for Caruso again. You get that 3 point spacing similar, but you don't get that same shot creation. You get it that not the same extreme as the price point. Austin Reaves is just more of a Swiss Army knife. And frankly, if we look at the Chris Haynes report, waited for here, the Lakers are saying they will not move Austin Reaves in any of these deals. So it seems like the Lakers front office, Rob Pelinka, do agree with my take on this, but I'm interested in seeing what you guys have to say because again, Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso are all big names. Probably bigger in the mainstream sphere than a Reeves. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. But you guys are the best to make us far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.